There was good news for some leaseholders this week as one of the UK's biggest house builders and the biggest insurance firm agreed to treat them more fairly. Here's Chris with his experience of buying a new house from the house builder involved, Persimmon.
At the time of buying the property, we were told that no, you can't buy the freehold, but there is a legal opportunity after 2 years where you can buy the freehold, and we were told it would be likely to cost a couple of £1,000. That was by Persimmon's salesperson. It was only after we'd completed and bought the property that we then started to see some of the issues that other people have had when it's subsequently cost a lot more money, so £3,750. On top of that, you would then have to pay their legal fees as well as your own. So I believe that we should be able to claim back the difference between the cap of £2,000 and what we paid, excluding any legal fees. So that should mean that we hopefully will get back £1,750.
Well, listening to that is Sebastian O'Kelly, who runs the charity Leasehold Knowledge Partnership. Sebastian O'Kelly, Chris there with just one of the problems leaseholders face. Now, leaseholders, I should explain that they own the property in a sense, but they don't own the land it stands on, and that's how leasehold works. And if you want to own the land it stands on, you have to buy the freehold, which is what Chris was doing there. What change has Persimmon announced in letting people buy that freehold?
Well, it's going to offer the freehold at the reduced price, the price which was talked about excitedly by the sales teams when they sold these houses in the first place. It's got to be remembered there's no good reason for spreading these leasehold houses around the country, and Persimmon was a prime offender of that.
Yes, and how easy will it be? I mean, people like Chris, will they be able to, or will he automatically get his 1,750 back, or will Persimmon find all the thousands of people it sold leasehold homes to?
No, well, this is a bit of a minor criticism of it, in that you have to contact Persimmon rather than Persimmon be obliged to contact all the leaseholders it has so badly let down over this. So inevitably there'll be some people, perhaps people who've resold their properties. There'll be some properties that don't claim off them, which is a shame. And
will it apply to people? I mean, this goes back that Persimmon is going to do this right back to the year 2000. So a lot of these houses will have been resold. Does it apply to the new owner as well?
Well, that's a bit of the open question. I would have thought it should, because, just remember here that Persimmon has introduced a disadvantageous contract into the wider property market, and it's toxified the property market as a result, and should make this good, irrespective of who now currently owns the property.
Yes, so that could help Chris and people like him in houses where they can, in theory, buy the freehold, and that's now cheaper. But, of course, many freeholds have been bought up as investments, haven't they? And they rely on what's called ground rent, an annual payment that you have to make to the freeholder just for the right of your property sitting on their land. Now, Aviva has done that. It's bought up a lot as investments, and ground rents increase periodically, sometimes doubling. It also made this announcement this week, didn't it? A different announcement. Good news for leaseholders. Yes,
basically our cartel of leading house builders drew up very complicated leases to basically cheat their customers, and then recommended the solicitors and other professionals who then didn't draw the buyer's attention to these problems. Aviva was one of the purchasers of these flawed assets. The curiosity here is that it's a pension fund investor. Most speculators in residential freeholds these days are obscure private equity partners, often offshore. I was going to ask you about them, because all this happened because of the Competition and Markets Authority, which says it was a big win. But of course there are three other major house builders. There are firms that buy freeholds, as you said. Some of those are based offshore. Can they be forced, as the Competition and Markets Authority says, to make changes too? Well, they can, because the contracts are here in the UK, so aren't so enforceable through UK law. But you must see this as the first dominoes falling. Persimmon, the first developer; Aviva, the first freehold investor, and we would expect many others to follow. And that's what you hope. And just very briefly, what about the legal reform to end leasehold, this very peculiar English form of tenancy ownership, in a word? Well, they're going ahead. We're worried about the lobbying from the sector to derail them. We're worried about weaponising the courts to sneak through some disadvantageous decisions. But we're hopeful, and we're keeping a very close eye on it. Sebastian O'Kelly, thank you very much.